everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Main Street Moments and Beyond podcast. This is Kathy.
And Brian.
And we haven't done a podcast in a while. We've been kind of busy, and you have been to Disney property, and so we have some vlogs up with that, which is pretty cool. You've been to Disney Springs a couple times.
I've been to Disney Springs more in the last month than I've been in the last 10 years.
Now,
because that's all that's open. There's nothing else to do at Disney.
We used to have a lot of vloggers that rarely go to Universal have been going to Universal because they're open now. So I can understand that. I like Universal. Brian doesn't love it. It's not he likes Disney better. I like Disney better too, but we used to have annual passes to Universal, which are less than Disney passes.
A lot
and
less.
We had the premium ones, but we didn't go very much. So we just kind of stopped paying for those. And the thing with Universal passes, it's not so easy to get out of a Universal annual pass. Okay. If you have a Disney annual pass, every year you have to renew it.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you don't renew it, they give you like a 30-day window and then it goes away. With a Universal pass, this is important to know. Now this is for Florida residents. I don't know if people outside of Florida can make monthly payments, but if you're a Florida resident, you can. You put a deposit and then you make a monthly payment. They will continue your monthly payments automatically, indefinitely. In order to get that stopped, you have to call customer service.
Yeah.
It's a hassle. They have to send you a form. You have to fill it out online. You send it, but you have to request formally to end your annual passes, which I think is insane.
At Universal.
But anyway, so you have not yet been to Universal.
Now, well, the problem with Universal, here's the problem for me.
Or City Walk.
Yeah, the problem for me when I go to Universal is this. We live south of the parks. We live in South Florida. So when I'm driving up there, I get up to Disney World's exits first. And then there's a sign that says Universal Studios, however many miles away.
Like 15.
And it's very difficult for me when I'm at the Walt Disney World exits to go past them and go to Universal Studios. I'm really not a big fan of Universal, mainly because I don't ride roller coasters too much.
Right.
The Mummy is as extreme as I will get, and it's really borderline. I don't even ride that much. And I really don't like a lot of the rides. And I'll tell you, Universal really upset me.
But you haven't been on the Hagrid ride. You do like the Harry Potter stuff.
I've not been on Hagrid.
But you do like the Harry Potter stuff.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. But Universal really upset me and really kind of, I think, offended me when I got to get in for the very first time ever in my life. Coincidentally, we were staying at one of the Universal hotels. Now, I will say the Universal hotels are spectacular.
I love them.
I like the Universal
hotels.
And they're
less expensive than the Disney hotels.
Yeah, I like the
bigger.
Yeah, I like the Universal hotels better than the Disney hotels.
Yeah, they're good.
They're nicer. The rooms are bigger. The prices are better. But we were staying at one of the Universal hotels, and we got into the early soft opening that was unannounced. It just happened to Fast and Furious, the Fast and the Furious, right? And I was like so excited.
Yeah.
And that ride is so awful.
Yeah.
I was like offended that they would make such a big deal and have this ride in the.
Nobody likes
that
ride.
I'm really not into Universal, but I like Halloween Horror Nights.
Yeah, you do go to that every year.
That's awesome.
I like Universal, but I love
not my part.
Scooby-Doo. And I don't ride any of the rides, but I don't ride a lot of rides at Disney anymore because of my medical issues. I really don't ride that many rides. I just kind of like to go to the park and stroll around in my wheelchair, but I like Universal. I like the layout of Universal. I don't love Islands of Adventure, and I don't love that Harry Potter part by the castle. To me, it's just too small and crowded, and when I first saw it for the first time, I was like, this is it. The castle looks amazing, and that whole area of the shops is really cool. But I thought there'd be more. It's kind of small, but the castle is pretty cool. Well, but I have not been to Diagon Alley yet.
Diagon Alley is amazing.
You said is amazing.
It's amazing. And all the Harry Potter things are amazing. And unfortunately, Disney, the one good thing and brilliant thing about Universal are the Harry Potter areas. Disney did not learn from that when they did Galaxy's Edge. But
Galaxy's Edge is cool, but it's so generic.
I'm not a Universal fan. There's not much for me to do there.
I like
it.
I like it a lot. But I love City Walk.
Halloween Horror Nights is amazing. So that's worth it. And the annual passes, when we get our annual passes, we get one free entry to Halloween Horror Nights, and we get valet parking for free. Cool. So it's worth it a little. The passes are so cheap. You only need to go like 3 times to pay for them. It's really cheap.
Yeah. So it doesn't mean you're not going to ever go to Universal. In fact, you're thinking about going. You haven't been in a while, but we would just buy a ticket for you instead of paying every month. You really have to if you pay every month, and we had 3 passes for Universal, the premium pass, whatever the top one. So it was, with our Disney, it was, like $300 a month. So you really have to justify that expense every month, and I don't
Yeah.
know if I'd wanna buy passes again because it is a hassle to get out of those passes. With the Disney
Yeah.
passes,
Yeah.
every year they're gonna
Well, we're
expire.
gonna keep the Disney ones
Yeah,
forever.
of
We'll never
course.
get rid.
But I
Yeah.
love City Walk very much,
City
and
Walk's
we
nice.
we
Yeah.
stayed at, Sapphire Falls once, and it was one of the nicest weekends we had up there,
Yes, the
and
hotels are great.
we ate at the Mexican restaurant, we went to Islands of Adventure, we had a really, really great time, but I have not been to we didn't get to go to Universal that weekend because it got too warm. Unfortunately, I really wanted to go, but I like the layout of Universal because it's all, like, on a big circle around a lake, and it's so easy to get around. Disney parks, some of them, Epcot is kind of like a figure, kind of like an eight, I think of it like as a figure eight in a way. But the other parks are, Animal Kingdom's kind of like you go in a circle, but the other parks you kind of go back and forth and up and down. It's a little more difficult.
Well,
Universal, you just go around in a big loop,
Hollywood
which
Hollywood
is nice.
Studios is a little better now that they have Toy Story Land and Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, but you still
But
backtrack a
yeah,
lot.
when you go down the Aerosmith and Tower of Terror, you gotta do a big backtrack. It doesn't have that wheel and spoke
I don't
thing.
like that.
But
Universal's just one big circle around a lake, which is
it's
nice.
you cannot compare. It is nice there.
Yeah.
It's a big circle, both parks, but you can't compare the ease of movement at Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure to any of the Disney parks because even on their busiest days, the busiest days at Universal and Islands of Adventure, their crowds are nowhere near an average daily
I
crowd
know.
at Walt Disney World
Yeah.
before the coronavirus. So, the other thing
Well,
about
that's another reason I
yeah.
like Universal. It's not as crowded.
Yeah, the other thing about the passes to Universal, if you're an annual pass holder at Universal and Islands of Adventure, after 4 PM, you have their version of the Fast Pass,
That's
which is
true.
called the Express Pass.
True.
But with the low number of people that are allowed in the park, that's not even a thing. I'll give people a tip though about Universal. When you go to Universal, you'll see right there they're selling you. If you're buying a day ticket, they'll try to sell it to you at the gate. But if you go inside the park, you'll
I mean,
see
they
right
try to sell you the express
they
pass.
try to sell you the express pass as
Yeah.
soon as you go into the
Right.
gate at Universal, and I would recommend not doing that at first. What you should do when you go in, look at the ride times, and you will
See
find
if you need one.
a lot of times that you can just wait in line a few minutes because those express passes are expensive
Sure.
at
They're like,
Universal.
what, like $100 a
I don't know what
piece?
they charge for. They vary, but they're expensive,
I'm
and
really
you don't always need them.
surprised now, okay, now we're gonna talk about Disney because that's what we really want to talk about, and all the changes that they are making. Some I think are ridiculous, and I really think Disney's making some serious mistakes, in regards to this. I understand they have to do social distancing, and they are. They have to limit crowds. We've talked about that, and they're doing that. But they're doing some things that I just think are really not smart. One thing is they are eliminating park hopping. So if you have an annual pass, you can no longer go from park to park. You reserve a spot in one park, and that's the only park you can go
Not
to.
just annual passes, though. You can buy daily tickets
Yeah,
that
they've
have park
eliminated
hoppers.
park hoppers.
So park hopping is done, and I'll tell you, most days that I
Which
go
I
to
think is ridiculous.
most days I go to Walt Disney World, rarely do I only go to one park. Rarely.
Well, because you drive 3 hours to get there.
Well, even when I'm staying
So
there.
you want right, even that's true.
Yeah,
That's
even when
the
I'm staying
beauty
there.
of having an annual pass.
A lot of times what I'll do even when we're staying in a Walt Disney Resort, I'll go to one park in the morning, another one in the afternoon, or sometimes because with our annual passes, we have park hopper. I've gone to every park in one day. It's happened, but sometimes I'll go to a park and I'll be there and I'm like, you know what? It's a little crowded here at Magic Kingdom today. Let me go over to
Yeah.
Epcot.
I guess they don't wanna run the transportation between the parks. So, because they're worried
As
about
much.
spreading the virus around. I think Disney is being very safe, very careful. I mean, they have hand washing places, hand sanitizer. People are wearing masks in 90-degree weather. Even and then decided this is another thing that I think is a dumb idea. If you're over the age of 2, you gotta wear a mask, which
Wait.
is insane.
Does that mean age 3 or does that mean if you're 2 years
2 and
old,
up, 2 and up.
you have to wear a
I don't
mask?
even know if they make masks for that.
Um,
I know somebody who has a
that's too
kid
young.
who has to wear a mask for medical reasons, and she told me it is next to impossible to find a mask that size.
My guess, well, people homemade will make them at home,
They'll
but
have to.
it almost is like they're discouraging people from bringing young kids to Disney.
Yeah, I mean, you know why?
Yeah.
Somebody made the point, because if you're under 3, you're free. So they're discouraging
Yeah, but the
people.
parents and the older siblings aren't.
It doesn't matter. They're
So
discouraging people from getting in the parks for free. That's what a point somebody made is, well, maybe so they don't want
yeah.
3 or under coming in for free.
Not many 3-year-olds go with
So
just
people be
one
like, "Yeah, I'm not
parent.
gonna go."
Usually, if there's a 3 or under 3, there's both parents and maybe older siblings, so that I don't know if
I
it's
agree. I
that.
think it's a dumb
It's too
idea.
young.
I think it's too young. I could see. I mean, I just can't see kids wearing these masks in the heat all day long. I mean, I think medically,
Yeah.
it's kind of dangerous to expect little children. It is very hot there to wear a mask. And if you wear a mask for an hour or so and it's 90 degrees, you're not going to breathe as well. You're going to breathe in
Yeah.
more carbon dioxide. I've worn masks. I have a lung disease. I know how it is, and I've had doctors talk to me about it. It's not the best thing to do, and it's not the most fun thing to do. I'm not making medical claims here, but I'm just telling you, wearing a mask for hours
Yeah.
and hours on a little kid, it's not a good idea.
Well, even
at
as an
all.
adult, okay. Now
I could see 8
I
years
I've
old,
been
maybe.
I've been to Disney Springs a couple of times now, and this weekend I was at Disney Springs. It wasn't raining while I was there, but it was
Yeah.
cloudy, so it
Yeah.
wasn't too hot. The time before I was there, it was in the 90s, and I was at Disney Springs for 3 hours with the mask, and that was all I could take, and,
It's tough.
it's easier to get out of the heat into the AC at Disney Springs than it is at the parks, and
That's true.
I'll tell you one thing I'm not happy about with Disney, okay? They are a little too rough about enforcing the masks, and I've seen multiple vlogs where cast members have gone up to people to put their masks on. Our friends that have a YouTube channel that just moved to Orlando, Theme Park Delight, they were sitting at a table eating and drinking. And, you eat, you drink, you relax, you don't, and they didn't have food or drink entering their mouth for, I guess, 30 seconds or 60 seconds. And 2 Disney security guards approached them.
In fact, Brian, when they approached
Yeah.
them, you could see it on their vlog. The cast members, there were 2 of them, I think. They walked over from like 50 feet away
Yeah.
and made a beeline.
It was a big deal.
For Mike and said, "Put your mask on." And he's like, "I'm eating."
Mhm.
This is what I said on our last podcast. Disney is going to be very, very strict because a lot of people in our Facebook group and online are like, "Should I go? Should I bother?" And I tell them,
Yeah.
don't go. If you don't live here and you don't have an annual pass, don't go. Wait, save your money
Yeah.
until this ends
And
because you will not have as much
there
fun
was,
as if you know what I mean? It's not gonna be as much fun.
there was another vlog I was watching. It was, the Shopaholic, what's her vlogs?
Disney Shopaholic. Yeah.
Disney Shopaholic, which is another,
Yeah,
very
we
good
love her channel.
vlog. It's just shopping
Yeah,
mostly
I
at the
love her
Disney
channel. Yeah, it's
store.
awesome.
She was at Disney Springs, and there were some people
In the
behind her.
background, yeah.
They were just in the background. They weren't part of the vlog. They were in the background, and it was a couple. They had drinks in their
Yeah,
hand.
yeah.
Okay, they were drinking beer, and of course, to drink the beer, you take the mask down.
Yeah, that's kinda how it
And
works.
they took the mask down, took the drink, and the guy is standing there with the beer, and a Disney cast member in one of the VIP guide outfits
Mhm.
comes up to them and tells them to put the mask on. And you couldn't hear what was being said. They were in the background, but you kind of
He kinda points to his drink.
you can see with the sign language what was going on. And what the Disney cast member told them to do was take a drink and then put the mask on. When you want another one, take it off. It's
That's
a
absurd.
little ridiculous.
That's absurd.
It's a little ridiculous.
First of all,
what they're
the
suggesting people
virus
do.
doesn't jump from people to people like that, okay?
You're not going to give it to yourself when you're by yourself with a beer.
You have to cough on somebody, sneeze on somebody, touch something. This guy was under a tree, kind of off to the side
with his wife. Yeah.
Nobody else was around them. And
It's
I think for
crazy.
Disney cast members to go up to people and like act that way, I just think it's bad. I'm sorry. It would really aggravate me. But a lot of people are complying. They don't care. I mean, obviously
Yeah.
you're going to comply. They don't care. But I just think they're being a little
Well,
heavy-handed.
okay, here's
with
the
this kind of
thing.
stuff.
Here's
I
the
mean,
thing
you
about
can't
Disney.
take your mask off to eat or drink.
Here's the
That's
thing
nuts.
about Disney, okay? There are 2 things that when I go to Disney, I never want to experience and that totally destroy the magical experience of Walt Disney World
Yeah.
from a cast member. One is when they tell you no. You never want to hear no.
Yeah,
And
and
you
then
hear
that
that.
was their whole thing.
And-
Disney cast members
Yeah,
never
never
tell
said it.
you no.
And now the other thing I don't like is when, and this totally takes me out of the magical experience. I don't like it when they're telling me what to do. Sometimes when you go through security, they can get a little rough at security
Mhm.
with people. I've seen it, and
Which that is understandable.
I've had them, and I've seen this happen to other people. I've had my phone out, and they've had me delete photos and things because I was taking photos too close to the security and things like
Yeah,
this.
well,
They
I
go,
can
"Less."
understand that,
I don't like being told what to do, and I don't like hearing no. When I'm at Disney,
especially for the money you're
it's the
spending.
happiest place on earth. You're not there's all these
Um,
rules.
so this is an article I read from Theme Park Tourist. It's a really good blog, and I put this in our Facebook group, Main Street Moments and Beyond. And the title is Park Hopping Suspended Indefinitely
That's a big one
as
for me,
Walt
big
Disney
one.
World ticket sales prepare to come back online. See, a lot of people feel that Disney, now they're revamping their whole Fast Pass system too. They're eliminating it. And I read an article that said that people in the executive department of Disney have wanted to change it for a long time, and this is their excuse.
Well, it needs to be
So,
changed. It's a
right,
little
a
yeah.
lot of companies are using this crisis to make changes that they normally would not
Yeah,
have had the freedom to do
yeah.
anyway. So it says here, this is a good article. The list of things that will be unavailable when Disney opens is beginning to really pile up. As Disney has confirmed, there will be no parades, no fireworks shows, no character meals like buffets, no Fast Pass Plus at the parks. And also they announced, this is crazy, and we were going to talk about this next. No park hopping. And also the next thing, which I think is insane, if you stay on property in a hotel, okay, at a Disney hotel, which is not cheap, even the value resorts can be well over $200.
Yeah.
I remember when they were $50
Yeah,
when they
they're not
first
really
opened.
value anymore.
$50 to $65, you can get a room. If you stay on property, you are not guaranteed a ticket to get.
Yeah,
if you have it,
that's
even if
insane.
you have an annual pass, you are not guaranteed to
insane.
get into the park.
Completely
which is
insane.
cray to me.
Insane.
I don't understand what they're doing.
Well,
here.
I'll tell you, you know what I was wondering?
That should be
Yeah.
a priority.
What I was wondering about this,
Crazy.
what is going to happen to all of the vloggers who are accustomed to going to Disney World whenever they want, any day of the week? And a lot of vloggers have regular schedules like Resort TV 1 every Friday night. That crazy Disney lady live streams every Saturday night. So, you know, people are accustomed to going to Disney when they want, how they want.
Even people that don't vlog or stream, people
Park
that
hopping,
just live there.
They're taking what they're really doing is they're taking the happiest place on earth and adding all of these barriers and obstacles.
Yeah, they are.
And I'm not crazy about any of that. They're taking you out of the magic when they do that.
Do you think that they should have a reservation system, or do you feel it should just be first come, first serve? And when they reach their set limit, they close the park, and that's it. And then you can go when you want.
Well, what's going on here? I'm imagining the way the rides are going to operate, getting on and everything is going to be similar to the Rise of the Resistance. And Rise of the Resistance is a disaster so far as getting on it.
Yeah, it's hard to.
You have to get to the park hours before Hollywood Studios opens. Now, if you go back on our channel, my daughter and I got on boarding group 3, which really is the first group of people to get on the ride. And there was a trick that we learned to do that. So
this is on the vlog. You can watch it.
So go to the vlog and watch. But if you go to...
Of course, it doesn't matter now because we don't even know what they're going to do.
Well, when they reopen, you'll see.
Maybe.
You'll see. But when you go to Hollywood Studios under that system they had with Rise of the Resistance, by 7 o'clock in the morning, all the passes were gone for the whole day.
Well, you're also
and a lot of people would have passes telling them they might get on, but not sure for that day.
Well, you're not factoring in the crowd size will be significantly less.
But people are going to still
make a difference.
But people are still going to want to go and show up. So if they bring in a system similar to they have had on Rise of the Resistance for everything, that's going to be a disaster.
Well, people are not going to be able to just show up. You won't be allowed in. So they're going to control the crowd, which we had said before they have to do. They do have to control the crowd. That's key to being safe. So they're going to do a reservation system. But people that live there, this is what's bothering me. With all these changes and all these restrictions and stripping the parks of all their stuff, no characters, no fireworks, no parades, they're still charging you the same amount of money. They have not reduced. As far as we know, you can buy tickets now, or you could. I bought a ticket a couple weeks ago and then I got my money back. It was still $125 per person. They did not change the price. I don't think they will. Let's see if they do. But let me tell you something. If they strip away the parades, the characters, the shows, of course, park hopping was extra, but if you're an annual pass holder and they take away all these privileges that you have and you have to make a reservation, they shouldn't charge you as much. I mean, it's ridiculous. They should lower the cost of their tickets.
And for pass holders,
half the experience
and for pass holders, what is the point?
And you got to wear a mask on top of it in the heat.
So for those of us that are annual pass holders, what is the point of an annual pass if you can't go when you want to go?
Let's see how the reservation system works. and let's see how easy or how hard it is. Now, Universal does a reservation thing, but Universal's not as popular as Disney World. I want to see how hard, when they open the reservations, whenever that is, we're going to try to get in. And I want to see how easy or how difficult it is for you to get on in the park on the day you want. Now, people that live in the area are going to be more flexible with their time. But there's a lot of annual pass holders that live in other parts of Florida. We live in South Florida in Palm Beach. We see so many annual pass holders on the road. They have the magnet on their car. I mean, I see dozens all the time. That's a 3-hour drive that they can't just go whenever. They're going to have to make a reservation. If you live nearby Disney and you don't make a reservation, okay, well, I'll go on Thursday afternoon or whatever. You're more flexible with your time. Here, you pretty much have to go on the
Yeah, and
weekends.
there's another big problem too.
We'll see how it goes.
Without the parades or the character meetups, okay, and also no fireworks,
Yep.
they've said. Those are events that take people out of the ride queues. So, like, for example, what I've learned, some of the best times to ride the rides are during
But
the
there's going to be less crowds.
fireworks.
That won't be an issue.
Yeah, but they're gonna have it is because they're gonna limit the number of people. Like, if you go on Jungle Cruise, for example, the number of people in the boat is gonna be much less
Yes, it
than
will.
normal.
Yes,
So
it
it will matter.
I think
And
they're going to do
I
virtual
find-
queues like Universal for
Yeah.
every ride.
I find the best times for me to go on a lot of the rides are during the parades
Oh,
and the
yeah.
fireworks.
For sure.
And the parades and fireworks take a lot of people out of the rides. So now that you don't have those attractions going on, the rides that are going to have limited capacity
And no character
are going to
meetings.
have longer queue times because the ride vehicles have fewer people. It's a disaster.
They're getting
It's
rid
a
of a lot
disaster.
of types of restaurants.
Yeah.
Like I said on the last show, whatever you thought about Disney or knew about Disney, throw it out the window because this is a completely different animal that we're going to be dealing with. Okay, Disney is changing so many things. There'll probably be no gondolas, no boat rides, no buses, no monorail. I'm guessing it is going to be a very different experience.
Well,
for
I haven't heard
people.
them say about the gondolas, but I would imagine the gondolas
They're not
would
running-
be
yeah,
for
we'll see.
only people in your group. So
Well, if they don't have
yeah.
park hopping, why would they need a gondola? If they say go to one park only, you can't.
Well, some of the
those are-
hotels have gondolas,
yeah.
you know, to get
Well,
to.
then we'll see what they do.
You know, you can take a gondola
To Epcot and
to
Hollywood
Epcot and
Studios.
Hollywood Studios.
Well,
from
it
certain
might be
hotels.
only for those hotel guests. They might limit the number of people to per thing. So let's see. You know, we don't know what they're going to do because Disney hasn't made any big announcements, but we do know that they are not allowing park hopping. They are not allowing hotel guests to go to, which is crazy. Guaranteed access into the parks, which is nuts. I just can't believe that one. I thought for sure they would allow the hotel guests priority to get into the parks. I
Yeah.
don't understand this thinking at all. They are limiting crowd size, which is a good idea, but no parades.
Oh,
no
and
characters,
also
no
no,
shows.
the early magic hours are gone,
That's right.
and early magic hours are for hotel guests,
That's right. That's a
so
perk.
they lose that time.
But are they going to change the prices of the hotels to adjust to
Yeah.
all these? You know, when there's a hotel there being constructed on, you do get a good price. Like we stayed at Coronado a couple years ago, and I got the room for like $150, which is half the normal price because they were building that huge tower, and they said the price is lower because of the construction. Okay, that's great. So since they're not going to have all these other things going on,
Yeah.
are they going to lower the prices of these hotel rooms?
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to lower the prices of tickets? I feel
Now,
that they
of course, we hope this will not be permanent. I mean, it's
should. You never know.
it's such a catch-22 because the biggest complaint that people typically have over Walt Disney World are the crowd sizes. So
Oh, yeah,
now,
for sure.
because of coronavirus, the crowd sizes are severely limited, but there's all of these crazy restrictions. Now, they also said that they're going to be using stormtroopers to enforce mask wearing.
That is kind of fun. That doesn't bother me. At all. I think that's a good
when
idea.
the stormtroopers become real stormtroopers
yeah.
and start giving you orders.
Well, I think that wouldn't
That's-
bother me. That makes it kind of entertaining.
You know, no, I saw a little bit of this. I was at Disney Springs, and some of you may have seen this. If you've been to Disney Springs, you've seen it,
Yeah.
and you may have seen it in vlogs. They have some stormtroopers now on a balcony at,
Yeah.
okay, Disney Springs.
Doing like a little show.
And what happens is a crowd gathers to watch them talk because they do what they're talking and interacting. And then at one point, you'll see this actually, I think on our vlog from when I was just up there this weekend. They start telling you, all right, move along, people, move along.
So they gather a crowd and then tell you to get the hell out of there.
People
That makes
think
sense.
people thought, oh, that's part of the show. They were serious when the stormtroopers said, "Move along, get out." they were being serious.
Yeah.
It wasn't part of the act.
Yeah, but coming from a stormtrooper, they do that at Batuu. They go around, move along, and they do that in the movies. Move along, and not, that doesn't bother me. I think I'd much rather have a stormtrooper tell me to put a mask on than some cast member that's in a
Well, when
regular.
Galaxies,
That wouldn't bother me at all.
it's such a crazy thing about the crowds because I went to the opening day of Galaxy's Edge, and never has there been a land in Walt Disney World as crowded. And they had cast members, you weren't allowed to stop moving.
Yeah.
I'm serious. And Galaxy's Edge, you weren't allowed to stop moving. And if you stopped, like if you stopped to talk to someone, cast members would come up to you and say, "Okay, you got to keep moving. You can't stop." That's how crowded Galaxy's Edge was.
It's crazy.
Now there's no crowds because of social distancing.
Well, when you go, we'll see what the crowd is like. It'll be really interesting. I think a lot of people are just not going to go, and they're going to wait.
I'm going to go the first day I can get in.
Well, you have an
first
annual
day
pass
I can get
and we
in. I'm
live
going to get
Florida,
in.
so
I'm going to go.
I don't think
I'm going to
and
go.
Plus, now also with the state of Florida, there's quarantine requirements. So if you come from certain states like Louisiana, New York, or whatever,
New Jersey,
you have to quarantine in your home or wherever you're staying
12 days
for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You can't go anywhere. That's still in effect. So who the hell would want to come here right now? So you have to plan your vacation, be here like a month.
You have to be quarantined.
Be quarantined for 2 weeks,
in
and
your
then you
hotel.
go on vacation.
And by the way, when you're quarantined, say you're in a hotel room, you're not allowed to travel around the hotel. You got to stay in the room.
I don't know if you can quarantine in a Disney hotel. Would they let you?
I don't. For 12 days, I'll take your money. 12 days.
That'd be expensive.
And you can't leave the room. You got to do room service.
Oh my God. Well, there were some changes with that too. If you go to our Facebook group, there's an article there from what I just read from, and read that article.
Yeah.
And they list it is a long list. We can't even go through it all, but they list all the changes that are going to be taking place at Disney when they do open next month. I hope they open the reservation system soon. And I hope we can get you in on the first day.
I'm going to go.
It doesn't take forever to get in. They're taking our money starting July 1st. I'll tell you that.
The first day I can get in there, I'm going to be there. There's no doubt about it. In fact, I'm
You'll
very
even
excited.
Take the day off work.
Yeah, well, the first day is a Saturday. I'm hoping I can get in.
Hopefully,
and
that's good.
I imagine going to the Magic Kingdom on the first day of the reopening will be as close as you will ever be able to get to being at the opening day of the park in 1971. So I want to be a part of that. And I'm hoping they have special merchandise
I don't think it'll be
for the reopening.
Like that. You know why? Because on the opening day in 1971, they had parades, they had entertainment.
No. I'm talking about the experience.
It was a happy experience. This is going to be kind of like, I don't know.
It's going to be shut down. Well, it's been shut down. It's never happened before like this. And I'm hoping that there is some special reopening day merchandise.
I hope so. I know Universal.
I don't know what it would be.
I've watched some vlogs. Yeah, well, they'll sell those. Universal, I watched some vlogs, and they were giving out to people buttons and magnets. That would be cool if they gave out some kind of cool swag to people, like thanks for coming out, and we'll see what happens, guys. But anyway, tell us what you think in the comments. What are some changes Disney's making that you are not happy with, or are you avoiding going to the parks until this is all over? Tell us what you think. Thanks so much for listening. Please like and subscribe if you have not, and we will see you soon in the parks.